campsite is accessible by car, but we won't be bringing cards solely for the purpose of keeping food locked away. What they have instead are bear caches. You can see these buckets are attached, or they're permanently attached to a pulley system that can pull them up into the tree, and there are plenty of those around the campsite. So that's what we'll be doing at Cat Lake. These are the three topics that I wanted to have a quick chat about. We mentioned before about discomfort without, I'm going to remember this one time, discomfort without danger. And camping for a lot of students is challenging. It's not their usual activity, so it's putting themselves out of a comfort zone into what we call a challenge zone. Whilst we do that on purpose, we do it with an understanding that, yes, this is a challenging situation for the students, so we're not here to make life miserable. We're not trying to put them in a situation where they could at all be injured. It's a place for them to realise that, hey, I didn't think that this was my thing, but I can do it. And that's something else that can be taken away whenever, like in future, a student finds themselves in a situation. They might be able to remember back to grade 8 camp, grade 9 camp, and there's that time where they thought, I don't think that I can get through this spider's web, or I wouldn't have a clue how to make this stack of boxes end up over there. I don't know how to do it. But with a bit of encouragement from their friends, with a bit of leadership from their parents, from their leaders on camp, they'll find that they can do it. Hazards versus risk is a very, very big part, actually, of my job and also of outdoor education. We understand that whenever students are on any activity, whenever they're at school in the science lab, whenever they're on a school bus travelling from home to school, whether they're camping with us, whether they're camping with another organisation, there are going to be hazards around. But a hazard really becomes a risk when it's something that could or is highly likely to affect a student. So we understand that hazards might be that a bear could come into a campsite, but it's only a risk if we don't take appropriate steps to avoid that. And so that's why with our risk assessment we have many different steps that are taken not only to avoid the potential of a bear coming into a campsite, but for instance when we go canoeing, the students will be instructed on how to safely use canoes. They'll be given PFDs, also known as life jackets. So many more examples that are all different things that we'll do to reduce the chance of a hazard becoming a problem. We can never guarantee that all risks will be removed, just like we can't guarantee that no one will have a car accident in their cars. We can take many steps. Cars can have airbags, we have road rules, and there are ways of enforcing those road rules. But what I can assure you is that we have taken all the reasonable steps to make sure that the risks are not unwarranted. And like you'll also be able to read in the package, the activities that we've chosen have been chosen because their educational benefit is well worth the chance of a risk occurring. Did anyone have any questions on either of those two things? Yeah.
I just came back from Whistler and there were bear fighting around that area and there was accident by the classes. Would it be injured?
Like I said, we can't totally remove the potential of a bear coming into a campsite, and there are always going to be encounters between bears and people. But there's a few things that seriously reduce the chance of us encountering a bear. A group of 16 students together make a lot of noise, and there's most likely problems with bears when you come upon them unexpectedly, or when you find yourself between a mother and a cub. And so every time that there's a group of students together, we're going to be making a lot of noise, and so in that way it's very difficult for us to startle bears. It's not springtime, and so there's less chance of being caught between a mother and a cub. But what we'll also do is that we'll always have two adults, or certainly a teacher and a senior student with each group of students. And so they're going to be on the lookout for, let's say they might have heard a noise somewhere in the bushes, and that one of the many things that they do is keep an eye out for situations like that where they might think there might be something going on there. Let's take a pause, we'll wait, and if it is a bear, it has a chance to move on, and if it isn't, then we just be cautious and then they carry on.
What about cougars?
Cougars are quite, they're can't say they're similar, but the same steps often work. Cougars are likely to attack people who are smaller and who are separated from a group. And once you have a group of people together, that immediately deters the cougar knowing that they have 16 individuals to try and overcome instead of just one. So that's why we'll always be together as a group. There's no instances that I can think of where a student will be left on their own, certainly not intentionally. And I don't think what else is, we will be carrying bear spray with us whenever we're away from the campsite. And I don't want to say that in trying to imply that that means it will be safe. Bear spray does also work on cougars, but it's almost a last resort. It's the kind of thing that they'll use if you're in that situation and you think, okay, something needs to be done right now. It's an option for us. I hope that answered your question.
What about bathrooms in the camp?
And bathrooms, they're right next to our campsite. I do have a photo buried in the computer. Right next to our campsite are 2 pit toilets to use, and then about 2-minute walk away is the shower block that I mentioned. It does have heated showers and running water.
Show us the tent. Is that a single person tent?
That's a 3-person tent.
Big.
Yes. Yes, they're quite large. Yes.
It's going to use the overnight hike, then they will sleep the next day, or
They'll be walking to Cat Lake, and with their packs they'll be carrying their tents and their sleeping bag and their change clothes for the next day, their mess kit, a few other things. And then the next day, yes, they'll walk back along almost the same route. The Four Lakes Trail is a circuit. They, on the way to Cat Lake, will do half of the circuit and then branch up. When they come back, they'll then complete the rest of the circuit. So they'll walk 6 kilometres on that first day, and then on the second day they'll walk the 6 kilometres back to camp. Yep.
Is there a minimum number for that hike that you'll need, or a maximum? Or?
At the moment, we don't have a maximum because we have equipment for every student. Where we will have to draw the lines is we will need a minimum of 4 students to go to make the appropriate ratios of student to teacher. And just the same, we can't leave 4 students behind. So if everyone bar 4 students had chosen, then we'd have to simply not to go.
It's a great idea.
Yes?
What temperature should we be prepared for?
It does depend on what the weather is like at the time, but I presume that in 2 weeks' time, the weather will be much like now, only a few degrees cooler, and I guess the chance for more rain as we're moving into autumn. For the grade 8s, which is another 3 weeks beyond that, I guess now the average temperatures are hovering around 20-25, that probably would have gone down to 15-20 degrees, and again, the chance of rain.
But what sort of elevation is it?
Oh, Alice, like, I don't know what the elevation is off the top of my head, but it's not that much colder. I was there at the beginning of August, which yes was 4 weeks ago, but at night time it certainly didn't get below 10 degrees.
It's only about 300 degrees.
There we go. It will be cooler at night time than it will be in the city, so that's why when you look at the packing list, it is important to bring in warm jackets. A waterproof jacket does then also work as an extra layer of clothing if it's cold. There's a warm hat or a toque on there as well. Don't think gloves are on there, but that's certainly an option if that's something that your child likes to wear. I would like to speak some more on littering, but if there were still any questions, so specifically on challenge